I'm going to be honest with you, right? And this is on my path. In 2015, 2016, if you were a Nigerian American, I would not fuck with you. Straight up. At all. This is the God's honest truth.
Sure.
Based off of how it was and the temperature there, anybody but that person. But then I was thinking about, man, like, look at all the opportunities I would have missed. You know what I mean? Like, just in that attitude, just because of a misunderstanding, I didn't understand things. What's good, King Gandhi? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode here. And this is the Nairobi podcast. I'm already drunk, but we got some very special guests. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Auston Holleman, world traveler from the United States, now officially Kenya.
Hard. Yo, original ketchup on the chips, Afro dancer sensation of the world. And I'm here with Auston and O'Shea Jackson for the gallon.
All right, give them a round of applause. So you guys know my podcast, our podcast rather, it's not just mine, but I'm very straightforward and very blunt. I think that's something that you can attribute to more or less the African American community, right?
Sure.
And some people don't like it because I'm a little bit too brash, if that's the case. But I try to be like very straightforward, honest. You know that from me, just me knowing you personally. Sure. But I want to address something that I feel is happening. I had a person that left a comment the other day, and it was a South African person that was talking about, like, said something about like Nigerians being scammers. So I immediately knew like one of the biggest beefs in Africa is the Nigerian versus South African beef, right?
And Ghana.
But I know in the diaspora, the biggest beef is between, and for some it may not be a beef, but there is some animosity there. The Nigerian versus the African American beef. Now, Auston is much younger than me. So I'm 42. He's the opposite, 24. So I asked him, I said, hey, listen, man, by the way, because he's from Dallas and I'm from California, but it's the same culture, same situation, right? Accent is different. So I asked him the same thing. Hey, is there an issue is there some animosity between Nigerian Americans, Nigerians and African Americans? He said, yeah, so it was happening even in my time. So I want to give some clarity, because I feel like these are the two groups that are the most, or some of the most, let me not say who's the most, but some of the most influential in the Black world, African Americans and Nigerians historically. But what is keeping us as two communities from working together to coming together and solving some of the Black community issues, or solving some of the African issues that we feel like could be beneficial?
I would have to give that one to him, because I want to know. I have the same question.
Yeah.
You see, the way I feel about it is opposite energy they attract, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Let's trace it back to time. We in Africa, we feel like we were kings and queens, and then somebody came and told us, yo, you're not supposed to be king and queens. Let's show you the way. And your ancestors are demons because you worship them and things like that. And then we go to a different country and we feel like, yo, we're kings and queens in our country where we come from. Do you know who I am? And you're in your country just doing your own thing. And just because we have the same skin color, there's already the misinformation of where we're from.
Okay.
And there's just this disconnect.
Okay.
If I come to you and say, yo, I'm from Nigeria, where you from? I say, oh, you're African. You see the way we're talking today, we're like, yo, this man should be an Igbo guy from Nigeria. If that's the kind of conversation that people have in diaspora compared to, you feel you're good? I'm from Nigeria. Do you know who I am? I have 10 lands in Nigeria. Don't talk to me like that. Do you know what? You don't have to go in that direction. Okay. Most of the time, if you come from a point of love, it makes everything easy. Like, yo, bro, what's happening? Where you from? Yo, you look like somebody that will be named Kilichi in my country. We'll laugh about it. And it's just, yo, give me your contact, That's the kind of conversation I feel Africans should be having in diaspora, compared to comparing ourselves amongst ourselves, you see. That's the problem. Okay. Because they feel like, oh, you're American, you're privileged, you have an American passport because I'm a Nigerian. You see me as what do you see me as? What do you take me for? It's just a mental breakdown of the whole brainwash that we've had from coming from Nigeria or coming from Africa. Now you're in America. You don't want anybody that is the same color as you to ride on you. But when somebody that's a different color talk to you a certain way, you can't talk back. It's the brainwash.
Okay. Let me talk about this, because like, obviously, Nigerians with, even like, Afro Dance Hall, Burna Boy, Davido,
everybody Wizkid.
Lamade, Wizkid. Lamade, I think he's producing music now, not just rapping. He's heard he's doing that.
Hard.
What's the other guy I was talking about? Don Jazzy.
Yeah, bad man.
So these guys are killing it, man. In like the last 10 years, because African Americans, for the most part, always had the juice.
True.
We had Jordan, we had Pippen, we had Eddie Murphy, Whitney Houston,
Michael Jackson,
Jamie Foxx.
Boom, boom.
So, we always had the juice.
Yeah.
Denzel. And now it's like you're starting to see even with some of the brothers coming from like Britain of Nigerian heritage or Ugandan heritage. And now the guys from the Afrobeats community, Nollywood, these guys are out there influencing the world. And some of the brothers from Nigeria are now like, look, and even in America, they're doing very well, right? And so they're letting us know, like, look, hey,
we got it.
and Nigerians are very competitive, just like we're very competitive. And then it turns into a lot of times a very bad beef where, let's say, for an example, like, I'm going to be honest with you, right? And this is on my path. In 2015, 2016, if you were a Nigerian American, I would not fuck with you. Straight up. At all. This is the God's honest truth.
Sure.
Based off of how it was and the temperature there, anybody but that person. But then, like, growing in what I was coming up in and all that. And my brother and my mom is an African American that has my older brother's half Igbo.
Imagine.
And
Igbo Quinn.
Yeah, and even with that, I was still like, no, right? But then I was thinking about, man, like, look at all the opportunities I would have missed. You know what I mean? Like, just in that attitude, just because of a misunderstanding, out of understanding things. But let me just get to Auston. Like, you're younger than me by a lot. What was the temperature in Dallas? There's a lot of Nigerians in Dallas.
Really?
What was the temperature between the African Americans in Dallas coming up at that time?
We wouldn't call them black. They would be African.
What's the difference between black and African?
There was a separation for sure. Like, it was a bunch of Africans outside. That's how we
Imagine.
We wouldn't call y'all black.
Imagine.
Did you go to church when you were younger?
I've probably been to church like 10 times.
10 times. Okay, I was a church kid. Were you a church kid?
I was going to be a priest, actually.
Really?
Yeah, because
it didn't work out too good, right?
At some point, I found out. At some point, I found out this was a story. Like, it was a storybook that we're supposed to believe in, you see.
Okay.
You need to believe in yourself more, because if they say you were made from a piece of God, that means you have a piece of God inside you. So you need to believe in yourself more.
Okay.
So when I found out that, I was like, so everybody's just believing in this storybook about some guy that came and then he turned water to wine and then he walked on the ocean. Yo, at 5 a.m., you can walk to the middle of the ocean, my man. Go to Mombasa, 5 a.m. You can walk to the middle of the ocean and you would think that I'm walking on water, my man. Mm-hmm. No disrespect to anybody, peace.
They're going to come for you.
So they should come.
So to his point, you went to church 10 times, but like for me, when I went to church in the Baptist church, I noticed that the people that we were more similar to were Caribbeans, because we had Caribbeans in our community. We've always had them. Harry Belafonte, Sidney Poitier. People like that, even like Jay-Z's half Caribbean, Notorious Big half Caribbean, Rihanna, Walter Rodney, Nicki Minaj. So they're more relatable than somebody who is like Burna Boy, which we can't understand what he's talking about or anything like that. And then also the Caribbeans, they have English last names like us.
True.
They don't have an African last name.
True.
So in Dallas, like when you say, well, those are Africans, why do you say that? They look like us. So why do you say they're African? Yeah, why do you say that?
Because we're diluted.
Well, what?
We're diluted. I don't know anything. Portuguese, English, whatever you got mixed
bloodline.
In with. So y'all are African. And we're just black.
Did you ever have any conversations with them when you're coming up, like being friends or?
Yeah. What else do you want to know about that?
Tell me.
I mean, because it wasn't important conversations. I think once I graduated high school, all that ended.
Okay.
So you never had like a conversation with somebody from like Africa that was in, Dallas at the time, and like, yo, bro, what's up? How you doing? Like, you guys just have a normal conversation without being standoffish.
Yes.
So it's always everybody trying to claim territory.
Yeah, that's most blacks.
Yeah, it's true. That's how we do.
Let me just say this, right, to his point. I had a friend, I won't call his last name Ebo, Richard. I noticed his last name was different, but he's also born in America, raised like me. So his father was a first generation immigrant, but the son was like me. So he played basketball. He grew up in a Nigerian household and you might have like some upbringings that was different from mine, but we like the same girls. We came up in the same system. If he were to go back to Nigeria, he would probably have a hard time. So those second generation immigrants that grew up with us, they might as well be like us in certain aspects. Kind of like how DeVito was born in like Atlanta.
Yeah.
So he can blend between the two. That's why you see DeVito on Drink Champs. You see DeVito on the Breakfast Club, but you'll never see Burna Boy on the Breakfast Club because Burna Boy was like from the soil.
Real Port Harcourt boy.
There you go. So there's a difference how Nigerians might view DeVito and Burna Boy, although they're both big. But Burna Boy would be more authentic maybe on some people's things.
Some people.
But I noticed with the Nigerians and Africans like that, we didn't go to church together. They stayed over there. At Howard University, I went there. It's a very big mix. You didn't talk to them. They stayed over there. We stayed over here. African Americans from California, we would integrate with those from Philly, DC, Baltimore, Brooklyn. Shout out to Brooklyn. Like, we know we the same people. We know that we are the same group. Those people, we know that they're a part of our group or we're a part of their group, but they're different from us for some reason. We don't know why they're different and we don't want to wonder why they're different. And we know when there's some shit in the game, like, we could call them names, we call us names, but we don't really want to with them like that because our group is our group, right? Like, true. You know what I mean? I never thought like I would be here in Africa. Like, I'm pretty sure Auston never thought.
Yeah, true.
I saw Auston on TikTok when he was like, I think still in Dallas, whatever. There's no way you can tell me he felt he would end up here. You know what I mean? Because like we don't have that relationship with a lot of Africans in America because our group is so, I'm gonna say cultured in that way. Like we don't like really with people because we do, but we just knew that they were different and they really probably didn't want to work with us like that. But I'm trying to understand, how do you get past that when you were in the States with people that were like different?
I never moved with Nigerians when I was in New York. Maybe 2 or 3. CJ, his cousins. There was just like 3, 4, 5 Nigerians I used to move with. And I hang with them for a while. Then I go back to the Caribbeans. Most of my friends were from Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Jamaica. That's where. I even had a dealer that was named Skilla. My name was Skilla. And the guy's name is Skilla too.
What's his number?
So what I feel is there's a disconnect. If every Black American was taught from the grassroots that you guys are from Africa,
right?
The conversation will be different. It'll be less confrontational and more from a point of homely conversations. Like, yo, what's it like in Africa? Yo, we're the same, I don't blame anybody that walked to a Nigerian because you're from America, even if we're the same color. It's a mental state of mind. This is where everything happens in your mind. Mm-hmm. All this was accumulated from the earth. Because when you were born, if you don't eat, you won't grow. All the food you eat is what made you who you are now. The real you is when you close your eyes and you listen to yourself. That's the real you. So if that real you was actually given the right information from scratch, you will know everybody is part of you. I'm an African, regardless of where I grow up. That's why I told you, when you were telling me what country am I from, I feel like these days I feel like I'm just a human in the world. Regardless of my skin color, regardless of what I was taught when I was young, the moon is here, I unlearn to learn. I decide who is my family. You see, this guy is a Taurus. I'm a Taurus. This my guy. This my guy. You're my guy. You see, that's how I create my family. I don't go by bloodline and all that. You see, who I meet and I connect with you and I see that this person has something. It doesn't have to be material. That's the problem. The world is built on material now. It doesn't have to be material things. It's just energy. If I'm around you, I feel naturally at peace. That is what I'm talking about. So if everybody was already taught from day one, like, yo, you guys were brought from Africa in a sheep. Your ancestors were brought from Africa in a sheep. So when you meet an African, you don't feel threatened. You feel like this is part of me. Mm-hmm. Yo, bro, what's up? I don't know where I'm from, but you're from Africa. So wagwan. Where you from? Tell me about where you're from. So you learn. They tell you, Igbo guys look like you. They call you Chike. You laugh about it. Mm-hmm. You see, instead of saying, yo, those are the African, these are the Houston, we're all one. You see? So how you feel about that?
I would agree. I've learned that since I've came here now.
You see? You're the same.
What did you think before? What did you think before before you came to Africa? What did you think?
I thought they were different. Like I said, we look at them as just that.
Like we had lions and baboons.
No, I didn't think that. I didn't think that.
But you didn't think Africa had this?
No.
Wow. Now imagine, now that you know, imagine how many other people do not even have a clue.
A lot.
What?
He been promoting it all over his YouTube. Like,
yeah.
I mean, there was the Biafra War.
Yeah, that is still going on though.
Still going on.
Yeah, low key.
But when we started seeing Nigerians come to America, it was during that crisis of 1967 to the 70s.
True.
Now, my mother was at UC Davis in 1968. So even prior to that, Nigerian, it wasn't a naira at the time, but the Nigerian currency was even worth more than $1.
Yeah, true.
So
true.
A lot of people coming from Liberia, Nigeria, and Ghana at those times, not even looking to stay in the States. Nigeria was just, 1960? It got its independence?
It was like a kingdom.
In October 1st or October what? October 1st, 1960.
1960, that was the way we got independence.
Yeah, so most Africans, Liberians included, Nigerians included, were coming to America on scholarships, coming in with Corvettes to UC Davis, Harvard.
True.
They're coming back to Nigeria. They didn't even looking to stay there. And you have all these skilled Nigerians coming in because of the war, and then after that, because of the instability. Coming to the UK, primarily in the United States. So these people, they're coming from Nigeria, from whatever different tribes. They don't fit in to the predominantly African-American community. Now, one thing is different, like he's from Dallas, and I'm from Sacramento. But if I go to a Baptist church in Dallas, everything is the same. We know the same songs, the same style of preaching is going to be there. We are one unique. Like when you look at Beyonce, you don't be like, oh, that's from Houston. African Americans will never say that. Michael Jordan, he's from North Carolina. Kobe Bryant.
Brother.
That's our group, right? So if somebody comes after our group, all of us are going to come because that's our one group.
True.
What I've noticed with Africa is not that situation because, we were coming from different parts of Africa, but we identified as one big, huge group. And what I've noticed is like Africa had so many different, or Nigeria, so many different tribes that were from different parts of the place that also identified themselves differently. And then that also didn't help. But then I noticed that because of whatever names they may have been called from us, it could have been that we were joking, not really that, taking it, they take it seriously or vice versa. Or whatever the whites told them. Nigerians started being extremely successful in America, like even better than Chinese. But then there was a disconnect that as they started doing better, and Nigerian entertainment started developing, and some of the private sector there in the diaspora started developing. We never, as communities, came together when it was obvious that our communities were probably the most influential. The African American community was always the largest.
Divided.
Yeah, the largest.
Divided.
Largest. It was the one that got all the TV, even from like Joe Louis. And then Nigeria started coming up with their own stuff, and so I'm trying to figure out with that as two groups who are the most influential. Working even with you, it's taught me so much. Like, damn, what if we did
this? What
would it be, in your opinion?
Magic. The United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
It's so big. It's different countries coming together as one.
Yeah.
Now imagine me, him, you come together to make this podcast. You see how the energy is just flowing.
Mm-hmm.
It feels nice. People are going to watch and be like, okay, yeah, these people have something. Now imagine the whole of Africa come together and be one country with one currency under one bank. Everybody is speaking their languages and we teach each other our languages and help each other instead of seeking foreign aid. We have everything. We have gold, oil. What don't we have?
Mm-hmm.
Fine girl, big girl, fine man, everything, alcohol. We have everything.
Corruption.
Everything. Like literally everything. There's a place they call Alaba. You see, you were talking about buying shoes and things.
Hold on a second. Story time music.
There's a place they call Alaba in Nigeria. You say you want Nike shoe that has the tick, but they'll write your name on it. They'll bring it for you. What? They don't have to go far. That's how Africa is productive. If we come together as one country, one bank, our gold, everything, we invest in ourselves. You see, everybody in diaspora, they'll come back home because there'll be electricity, there'll be love, there'll be resources. We'll build our refineries in our country. Nigeria is an oil country that has no refinery for the oil they have.
Yeah.
We have to take our oil
send it back
abroad
out and buy it back.
And buy it back. How?
Look at Qatar.
It's like you marry a wife, you cannot have children. You have to send it to your cousin to give birth. Bro, what are you doing? You don't whine me.
Yo, look at the. I just came back from Dubai, and man, Dubai has gotten so rich by just processing everything in its own country.
That they have.
Qatar, yeah. But let me get to Auston though. Like one thing my mom did when I was coming back to Uganda, my mom cried. She was like, yo, they're going to be there. They got witch doctors and things like that. You know, a lot of people just don't know. There's a lot of misconceptions because white people have told Nigerians about African Americans, stay away from them, Caribbeans. And they've also told us like Nigerians
they pass it down like a religion to the children.
Yeah. So we believe like there's like, they always lie. They're scammers and they believe that we always lie and we're gangsters and how they portray in the movies and things like that.
Juju.
What did your mom say or your people say when you want to like live in Kenya? What do they think?
She was used to me traveling. I think Kenya was probably my 10th it was my 8th country.
Okay.
And so she was pretty much opened up because at first when I said I wanted to move to Brazil, she told me, well, you need to find what casket you're going to. I'm like, they got an airport. It can't be that damn So I think by the time I came here, she was pretty much open to the rest of the world that it's not what everybody says.
Okay.
Yeah. So she was pretty much for it.
Have you met any Nigerians in Africa?
Yes.
How did they treat you?
I'm not gonna lie. One of them had an ulterior motive, like he's being super nice, and then he calls, asking me for money a week later.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, bro, got some money.
Yeah. but you've met some decent people here.
Yes. They're cool, but that one guy kind of hit the little.
The script. Oh, okay. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Because we need to get it out and open. Like, what's the stereotype that you've heard?
Yeah,
about Nigerians.
No judgment, just your point of view.
Just what we've heard.
That they're scammers and that they're very arrogant.
Okay, What have you heard about us?
I don't think I've had any negative comments about African Americans because I know how to move.
Yeah.
See, when I meet an African American,
you move to St. Louis?
No, I've never been to St. Louis. I've been to New York.
Shout out to St. Louis.
I've been to New York. I've been to Texas. I've been to all them places and things. But if I meet you, I can know. Even if you're shy, you don't talk much. I'll be able to connect with you on the point that, yo, bro, you okay? All right. Take a shot, low key. You know, we just connect on, people connect on different levels.
Yeah.
You see, the way he will connect with me is not the way he will connect with another Nigerian. It'll be different. Those people come with different energies, different traumas that they've been through. Maybe somebody met an African American that treated him like, so then it feels like everybody from African American.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and I want to deal with that because again, my family, and I wasn't in one of the biggest cities where I saw a lot of Sacramento has a few, LA, DC, Houston, you'll see a lot, right? And we have stereotypes about each other, things like that. And one of the things I've talked about is like, I'm glad you mentioned this because one of my best friends is a Nigerian. I met in Poland. Nigi Adarabigbe. Man, this guy, yeah, he went to Ilorin, University of Ilorin. Yeah. I sent this guy money to pay my rent in Poland. Like $5,000.
Hard.
And you always paid him, man. Like one of my, people don't know, like in Poland, I used to be a part of the Nigerian Independence Day celebration as an African American. I would help organize it. And you know, one of the things, the thing about like, they're good and bad people, right? And people get upset about me saying things about Nigerians or whoever else. But Nigerians have been some of the most influential people in the world stage, especially in Black media the last 15, 20 years. And the thing is, a lot of us, because of some of the issues that we had with one person, we have stopped our progress. If we could just somehow bridge that gap, do you know what kind of heat that
Africa will bring as a whole?
If you can bring these two influential groups just to, even if they come together and just like roast each other, something like that. If you can get Nigerian Americans, African Americans just to roast it out.
It'll be funny, intellectual, informative, everything will be in it.
Yeah, and then we can start like, because the thing about it is if I do my DNA, most African Americans, it's going to trace back to Nigeria, right?
Nigeria, Ghana, there.
Yeah, and I think
Nigeria and Ghana, because that's where the port is. That's where they ship people from. Right.
And like you said earlier, we will have smoke for each other. But if a white person or something says that, all of a sudden we don't have that smoke.
Cool, like,
yeah. And I think like a lot of the stuff I used to think about before, it was so silly. It was like, 'cause one of my best friends ended up being a Nigerian, a guy I would trust everything in the world with. As a person that before I met him, I'm like, man, I would never with this.
Yeah, you life. See?
And this dude, I was stuck in Poland. Storytime music. I was stuck in Poland. 2015. This dude came, knocked on my door. And it was Christmas time. I didn't go back home. I was studying. I was in medical school. He said, listen, bro, I know you can't go back home. Me and my wife brought you Christmas dinner. And here it is.
A Nigerian.
I was like, this is the same mama, you know.
They warn me about?
We supposed to be with like these people here, man, you know. And it just completely changed my life, my mind.
Your orientation.
And then it got me onto the like, because the way he treated me, it got me favorable to wanting to come there. Because I never wanted to come really. I wanted to come to Africa just like once to say that I did it. Yeah. It's off the checklist. I never thought about staying here or anything like that. But he was the real introduction into African politics through him.
Re-education.
Yanya, the Afrobeat genre. That's how I got into Olamide, the Davido.
Re-education.
And I was like, okay. And so that's how I started really like, I didn't even know I liked Afrobeat until him. I just want to encourage people, like, you're going to have good and bad people all over.
Come back home.
But how did you feel like when you came to Tanzania? I mean, even though it was Nigeria, but did you feel like, all right, these Africans not going to with me like that? Because
like I said in the first vlog I hit, I was like, oh, it feels like a group of black people. Like I got to put my guards up.
Right.
Yeah. But it was a huge awakening because it was like, damn, okay. And that,
You ever feel like you don't fit in?
No, I didn't feel like I didn't know nowhere.
So that's it. Yeah. They're your people. Don't ever feel like, oh, these are hey, bro. You know what?
Yeah, but
I'm your new Nigerian friend. Give me on. I'll teach you some lingo that you'll be using. You're going to Ghana. Yeah. From Ghana, you just try. Nigeria, 4 days, try. I'll teach you some things. Have fun. I'll teach you happen. What's happening? They want me. I'll teach you everything. We're following this. I'll teach you some things you use. And Nigerians love people that come from diaspora so much. Like the love they'll show you. No, let's not even talk about the guys. The girl, them.
The girls.
Wait. And you have tattoos? Wait. Bro.
You're trying to keep this PG-13.
Yeah, PG everything. But bro, you're going to have a great time in Nigeria.
No, let's talk about that because like, I think like we felt like as coming up as an African American, I don't know about his generation, but my generation was like, Africans, we don't you like that. Yeah, like that's how we felt like.
There's a line.
All right, like, okay, like Ethiopians, Nigerians.
There's a line. Congolese.
Like, even if you were to see him, like, because I went to like.
Ethiopians, no.
Yeah.
What you
shout out to Ethiopians though. Like they cool as like they cool as like, but they just cool. More standoffish and Somalians, Eritreans, Ethiopians, people from Djibouti. It's not against anybody personally. They're just like they're very private people. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's easy to take that as offense. Right now, sub-Saharan Africa a little bit more like Ugandans, Kenyans, Nigerians, Ghanaians, Liberians.
I feel like they're more welcoming.
Yeah, we're more like we don't really give a like that. Like especially Zimbabweans will help you fight. Like them, like like if you get you a Zimbabwean wife, like
she would beat everybody.
Oh my God! And South Africa, like I swear, and they will help you fight like an African American. So, but the brothers on the horn, sisters on the horn. They're nice, but like it take a little while to be able to really understand, kind of where they're coming from.
Zimbabweans?
No, they'll help you fight.
Sudanese people?
Yeah.
You see, I'm the shortest person every time I go out these days because
South Sudanese.
I only hang out with South Sudanese. Yeah, because my girlfriend is from South Sudan, so everybody is taller than me.
They're coolest too.
If you come to me, see long hands and long legs kicking you from nowhere. South Sudan is like cousins to Nigeria. They have so much culture. The guys have real respect for one another. The girls kneel down when they give you food. All those Nigerian things they do in the movies. They do it just the same way they do in Nigeria.
And you got it too. Also.
Yeah, you see? So then why can't Africa just come together as one and let's just cut off all these barriers that we have?
But let me ask you this though. What about the diaspora though? That people who have like grown up like me and him, we didn't grow up in Africa. We grew up in America.
That's why we have this podcast to educate them. Now, when they watch this, they'll be like, oh, so Africa can actually be fun. If he can be in Africa, if I can be in Africa, I've always been in Africa.
And we're in
If
Kenya.
you can move, let's not even put a country to it.
Okay.
We're in Africa.
Right.
We're in Africa and we're doing this, sending that message out to the rest of the world. You're watching with your friends, your family, your kids. Re-educate everybody to know that Africa is not the way that you originally thought it was.
Let me ask you also, like, you've been getting a lot of love since you've been in Africa. Like, did you believe that you would ever be coming to the continent? Like, when you first started, like, when I first saw your video like 2 years ago, did you ever feel like this would be a place you would want to be?
I don't know if I would want to be here, but I was coming here, yeah.
Because you're very straightforward and honest. Like, you don't care.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah. But you love it here.
Yeah, I do. A lot.
Why?
It starts with the people mainly because they're black, number one.
Yeah.
And there's no racism. There's a lot of scamming.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
There's plenty more than I've ever experienced.
And lying too. But you feel comfortable.
I feel like I fit in, yes.
Do you feel more safe here than in Dallas?
Yeah, you're not going to get shot in road rage here. Or you're not going to step on somebody's shoe and get shot.
But that can happen in Dallas.
It happens.
So if you were to sum up Africa in just 4 words, this is Africa in 4 words. All the countries you've been through, all the countries you've chilled at, people you've met, in 4 words, if you were to sum up Africa for people that are in diaspora that want to know about Africa, what would you say? 4 words.
Welcoming. It is loving.
Love.
It is safe.
Safe.
But it still has room for development. That's not a word, but that's a phrase.
Yeah, that's it. Word for development.
Yeah,
add another word.
But that development that is coming, it is happening.
And I'm not gonna just I'm gonna say this. Like, I don't know how many times I've dropped some money.
Makes sense.
And somebody's come and told me, like, yo, you dropped that. Your fly is unzipping. Like, zip your fly.
Yeah, zip up your pants. Africa, that's what we do.
And
we look out for each other.
I mean, like, I would just like to say that because of a Nigerian that showed me a lot of kind of just introducing me as that experience.
The education.
You know, not even thinking that I was going to come here, but because of my positive experience with him and how trustworthy he was as an individual. That's why I always come after people that say Nigerians are scammers. I'm like, they probably are thou. I've never met one. I have met some of the best people that I had a Nigerian doctor that was, trying to Dr. Anna Quincy. He's an Igbo chief.
Igbo, my people.
Yeah, he was, I wanted to go. I got admitted to Alabama A&M. I didn't go. I got admitted to Alabama A&M. He went to UC San Diego School of Medicine. He was the first person that was a family practice doctor. That was when I wanted to get into medical school. He's one of the people, not really like the most, he's not the guy, hey, what's going on, bro? Like older, traditional guy, But he was willing to give me, hey, here's what you need to do. You need to stop around and you need to do X, Y, and Z. And he was willing to give me that ear. And that was as an African-American, young man, he didn't owe me anything. He was willing to do that, and he didn't have to. So I just wanted, also with some of the competition that we do have between the Nigerian community and the African-American community, I think what needs to really be a conversation needs to be had is both of us are contributing to the narrative. So is everybody else in Africa, South Africans. But, obviously because of the size. African-Americans are in the American market. Nigerians are the biggest people in Africa.
So that is at the tallest.
Yeah. But man, I think like the opportunities that we could do together, if we have more
beneficial,
more collaboration, more understanding. I mean, look at the Shade Room. The Shade Room is Nigerian American. Media Takeout is a Ugandan American, and I'm an African American here on the continent. I mean, I'm trying to shout out the Shade Room. We want to return the favor. So we want to get our people out here too.
Same energy.
Yeah, but I think that's great.
Yeah, man.
It's great because I think when the Nigerians are coming to America, they're seeing America different than we're seeing it.
True.
Because we've been there.
True.
And if we come,
you live there.
Yeah, if we come to Kenya or Uganda or Nigeria,
you see it different the way that the people that live here see it. Yeah,
I think you need both of those things.
True.
So I think if you can get both of those great, powerful groups to start, man, it's over for the world.
It's a lot. It's
over. It's a lot.
It's gonna take a lot of time, but we'll get there.
Yeah. It's a lot of competition in between both. 'Cause I'm not gonna lie.
Misinformation, competition.
I'm very competitive as African American. Like. I'm gonna, I'm like that, but I want to give a big shout out to the brothers in Nigeria that have done a lot to push the culture forward. Plus, they're doing some great things out there. And everywhere you go in Africa, you cannot go to Africa without somebody saying Wahala. Where the fuck did you hear that from? You know what I mean? Or like even on TikTok, all the comedians in Africa are using Nigerian templates.
Lingos, Pidgin English.
Everything. They're so influenced. I don't know. Any last words, guys? I won't keep you too long.
Big up my man Auston. Big up O'Shea Jackson. I go by the name Ketchup on the Chips. Follow me on Instagram, KETCHUPONYIDO. I'm the only ketchup that's a human being. The rest of them are bottles. So when you follow me, I follow back. Check out the Afro dancehall style of music. Everything is out there on my profile. I love you guys. Keep supporting Kenya Ganda. It's the biggest podcast in the whole world, bringing Africans together, not just talking about whatever we want to talk about. We're trying to bring everybody back home because Africa is bigger than the whole world, So, my man Auston, drop that thing.
Well, shout out to you for being the horoscope.
I'm your first Nigerian friend.
The horoscope brother, the Taurus brother.
Yeah, man, my Taurus brother.
Yo, it's 4 in the morning.
Shout out to you for making this happen at 4 in the morning.
Yeah, man.
Man, shout out to y'all. I done got sober with y'all tonight. But
if you would like to see more behind the scenes stories, make sure you sign up for the membership.
And check Auston out on the dating show. He ain't gonna marry nobody no time soon, I don't think. But
No.
We need to get Austin an African wife to keep him in Africa.
I think he'll do it one day.
Yo,
but
how long you here for?
I don't know.
You don't know?
You've been here for a minute,
as long as you don't know.
4 months.
But anyways, guys, I really thank you so much for coming through, supporting us. Again, I feel like, I know I'm controversial. I'm petty. I have a lot of controversial takes. Don't like my takes. And I'm just going to be honest, but I really don't give a about what y'all think. I'm just going to be real, honestly, about it. I'm just going to, I can't make all y'all happy, right? I really don't care. But I am an African-American on the continent, and my particular group has an interest in connecting with the continent. I'm here fighting for the group here. I want to bring all the people together if I can. I don't really care if y'all don't like how I do this. It's not my fault. I don't give a but I'm glad to be here. I'm glad all of our brothers are coming together. We're at least having a dialogue. We're going to continue to be fighting in the comments. I'm going to be fighting all of you because that's what I do. I'm just going to be real. Like, I just really don't care. So we're going to continue to fight until we work this out. But shout out to all the communities out there in the world, the Jamaican community, Ugandans, everybody that's making Africa. Kenya is doing so excellent. Thank Kenya for hosting us today. And let's get it together. Let's fight this out. And then once we start fighting, we can start working together. So I gotta try to pay these guys right now. So I gotta get broke. So peace out, everybody.